like we could have a big confrontation here. Ace King for the Anfied. Poker Noob with Queens. He decides to flat call. Interesting play. With the chip stacks the way they are, you'd have to say this is trappy stuff from Poker Noob. And I think that flop will get the money in. King high flush draw and the 2 overs for the Anfied. Poker Noob with the Queens overpair. It's basically a flip. We'll see if the money goes in right now. 2 million in the middle. Critical pot, this one. If the Anfied was to win this pot with all the money in, he would really take a stranglehold in this tournament. He is going to bet 1.2. How does Poker Noob play this? Tobias Rankemeyer with the decision. This is one of those where whatever he does, it's almost certainly right. So that's good because it removes the need for analysis. In goes the money. I can't imagine the Anfied is doing anything other than snap calling. There it goes. This is a key pot in the million. Poker Noob could double up, or the Anfied could have a big chip lead 3-handed. Needs to hit his overcard or a club. Poker Noob screaming hold at the river card, and that's what happened. So probably not a great result for the other players. In fact, definitely not. Poker Noob takes the chip lead for the first time at this final table. Hand 75, still playing 200,000, 400,000. Poker Noob will raise. The Anfied sitting on about 35 big blinds will 3-bet with pocket fives. Poker Noob has a decent hand, especially opening from the cutoff, perhaps a little bit stronger than his average. How will he decide to play it? He does decide to flat call, probably just enough room in the chip stacks to make that play. Flops a straight draw. He won't know it, but we can also tell that if he hits a pair, that will work as well. You'd have thought that Anfied will represent this ace. He's perfectly entitled to have one in this spot. 4.5 million in the middle. On this kind of flop, probably doesn't need to bet too big. Let's bet just over half the pot. And what do you do if you're the Poker Noob? Well, you raise. Strong stuff from Rankemeyer. You wouldn't expect anything else. And the Anfied folds what technically was the best hand, but how could he possibly know that? And Poker Noob is starting to take command of this final table. Hand 77, the blinds are 250, 500,000, and the Anfied will make the traditional double the big blind raise and probably take it down. No, he won't. Maroc will defend here. So Maroc's going to make the 9-5 suited work for him. Well, he's got a chance to do it now. Hits the flush draw on the flop, and it's a decent flop for the sevens. Can't complain too much with just one overcard. How will the Anfied play it? There's 2.4 million in the middle. He is going to bet, and I presume he's not going to bet fold. Maroc does make the shove with the flush draw, which can't be bad. He will get a decent amount of folds, I think, from the Anfied's complete bluffs, but don't think the Anfied's going to fold here. He's not. So the money will go in, almost 19 million of it. Maroc needing a club, a 9 also works for him. Another big pot. 6 gives him more outs. Now the Anfied doesn't want to make a set. 3 of spades is a blank as far as Maroc's concerned, and the Anfied will take down a big one, almost 19 million, and leave Maroc completely crippled in this tournament. Strangely couldn't come back from having a few hundred chips, and the Maroc leaves us in 4th place. The Danish player with just under $50,000 out of the Sunday Million, and we're 3-handed. And Poker Noob and the Anfied quite close together in chips. Poker Noob with a 5 million chip lead. Tom's Brachis, who we haven't seen too much of in this highlight show, is the short stack, and he'll get it in here. Poker Noob with the aggressive play, setting Tom's Brachis in. But he does have an ace, he can make the call. But unfortunately, Poker Noob hits an 8 on the flop. Tom's Brachis went in with the best hand, But it looks like he's going to leave us unless he can find a river card. Nope. Tom Sprakis is going to finish third. The Latvian player, who was one of the short stacks at the point of the chop, wins just under $27,000 and has a third place in the million.
Growing up on the circuit, everyone wanted to offer me advice. When to bet, when to fold, when to raise, what to wear, what to eat. But there was one piece of advice that took me to a new level.
Daniel, don't do anything stupid.
At PokerStars.com, there's a tournament starting every second. Develop your game at the world's largest poker site.
Develop your game enough and you could make a Sunday Million final table. We want to get you on that road. The online poker show free roll is on the June the 2nd at 3:35 Eastern Time. The password is Sharon. C-H-A-R-O-N, Sharon. Here are the two with a chance at the title right now, Poker Noob and the Anfied. It's looked like these two for a lot of the final table. They have been the big stacks. Poker Noob 999, Tobias Rankamai trying to add a Sunday Million to his Sunday 500 Super Tuesday, Scoop and EPT High Roller titles. It's a great poker CV, but the Anfied will not be giving up easily. He's come a long way. Both of them come through almost 5,000 runners to be here. Poker Noob, though, with a 2-1 chip advantage. Looks the heavy favourite. Neither player has much in hand 89. Poker Noob is the pre-flop raiser. And he'll check back on this flop. The delayed C-bet approach, I think. He's thinking about, imagine that Poker Noob will try and take this one away right now. He does make a small bet, trying to look strong. The Anfied doesn't have a hand, but is not a believer. Interesting stuff. Doesn't really see what Poker Noob would play that way on this board. Now the question is, does Poker Noob know what the Anfied knows, and can he rebluff here? He's well capable of it, and he decides to flat call. This is some interesting poker. Decides to float the turn. That 7 makes him a pair. Makes no difference. Technically, he had the best hand. The 8-7 was playing. What does the Anfied do now? He's made the check raise bluff on the turn. Can he follow it through on the river? If he can follow it through, it might well work. Well, he has, but it's a small bet. How does Poker Noob read this? He's obviously floated the turn to try and win this pot on the river. It's a fun hand to watch because we can see he has the best hand, and a call will do it. Well, the Anfied is going to get frustrated by that hand. He's been a little bit outthought there. Don't think he did too much wrong. But perhaps Poker Noob just a level above him in that hand. That was a fun one to watch. And this may be one which is a little bit more straightforward, but fun all the same. The Anfied is all in. Poker Noob will call. And if the Anfied doesn't improve, this tournament is over. Tobias Rankamai, Poker Noob 999 with the jacks. And holding over the Anfied here. He needs a king or a queen. Well, the Sunday Million is done. And there's the queen. So the Anfied down to his last few outs. Hoping and praying, and he does catch. And will keep playing here. A lifeline for the Anfied from Germany. Now has ace-8 suited on the button in hand 106. 2 9s for Poker Noob. The Anfied starting this hand as the short stack. Does get 3-bet by Poker Noob. And the Anfied thinks ace-8 is in front of Poker Noob's range. He's probably right, but on this occasion he has run into a big hand. And the Anfied is an underdog. Can Poker Noob get it home this time? Another pocket pair, another chance to win the tournament. No help on the turn for the Anfied. And Poker Noob has a spade. But the Anfied finds an out. Back-to-back river cards. And this one was a thinner draw than the last. The Anfied, well, I said he wouldn't go quietly. Far from that. He's giving Poker Noob all kinds of problems here. or at least the random number generator in the deck is. The Anfied now has the chip lead, against the odds, you'd have to say. Hand 107, PokerNoob will raise. The Anfied will defend with 9-4. I think he needs to defend that, but maybe he has a plan. He'll check it back. Ace high flop. Neither player has anything. PokerNoob will bet. And the Anfied will call. He can catch a 3. That would be cool. Doesn't really have anything. Maybe he has a plan. Maybe that's what he has. PokerNoob has to decide whether to double barrel on this turn. Is he going to keep trying to sell the fact that he has an ace or something else of value? 3.2 million in the middle. And he will keep firing. Now, the Anfied we know didn't have anything on the flop, so yeah, he did have a plan. He was planning to represent something on this turn. Funny one though, because I'm not quite sure what legitimate hand he would play this way. I mean, he might play a monster this way, but other than a monster, I mean, if he had an ace, I'm not sure he'd raise this turn because he's not getting too much action. What does PokerNoob think? We've already seen he's capable of making plays, but he decides this is not the spot. So this time, the float on the flop from the Anfied and the bluff on the turn works. Really good heads-up match. Hope you're enjoying this one. A couple of really interesting hands so far. PokerNoob's Scoop Championship was a heads-up event. We know he can play heads-up, and we've seen confirmation of that. The Anfied we know less about, but he's showing some poker chops as well. Has a real hand this time, with ace-king suited. Hearts is one of the prettier ones, isn't it? Top 2 or 3 anyway. Gets 3-bet by PokerNoob, and well, that's a pretty easy decision, isn't it? And PokerNoob has to give it up. So the Anfied, with a decent chip lead now, they've almost swapped positions from the start of the heads-up match. Or maybe this is where PokerNoob gets some back. Ace-king, and critically, with heads-up, his opponent has something. Suited ace-4, and yeah, the Anfied will set PokerNoob in. PokerNoob has the easy call and will like what he sees. Big favourite to double up here. If the Anfied can suck out, he wins the tournament. No help for him on the flop. Neither player has a heart. I don't mean that as a judgment. I mean that in terms of their cards. Both of them have got big poker hearts. And the Anfied can't catch the river. PokerNoob will bring the ace-king home, and they'll swap places again. This has turned into be a pretty ding-dong heads-up battle. Looked like it might be quick at the start, but has turned out to be far from that. The Anfied will make a big raise here with King 9. He has been making bigger bets and raises than PokerNoob. And PokerNoob will set him in with the deuces. Thinks he's got lots of fold equity here, and the Anfied, well, I would have thought that was a closer decision, but he makes the call very quickly, and we've got a big flip, and this one could decide it. If the 2s hold up, then PokerNoob is your champion. No help for the Anfied on the flop. And he can catch an 8 now, a king or a 9, or we're done here. And that's what happened. 6 of spades is a blank. Deuces, deuces, never loses. Statistical fact. PokerNoob brings home the Sunday Million. Tobias Rankemeyer adds to his quite ludicrous poker CV. What an accomplished tournament player he is. $135,000 was his payout. He actually was the biggest, one of the biggest chip stacks at the chop. Confirmation of the money after that 9-way chop to PokerNoob and the Anfied taking the lion's share of it. That's your Sunday Million fix for this week. Turned out to be a fun one. Really good heads-up battle. Hope you're enjoying being back in the Sunday habit. There'll be another one this time next week. Until then, for everyone at PokerStars.tv, I'm Nick Wealthall. I'll talk to you very soon.